Yes, team, and welcome back to session 56 of Mindset Mastery. So I will try and stay a little bit calmer today than the last couple of weeks, as I've realised that this microphone does not cope too well with me getting very overexcited and thinking I am a Navy SEAL and shouting "hoo-yah." So apologies for the slight audio mishap on the last episode, but it was only minimal. So we'll try and keep things under control today, but I can't promise anything. So listen to this. Pain, fear, and discomfort are the emotions of growth and success. So is overwhelm, by the way. Now, why that is so poignant and why I asked you to listen is because those are all the things that we avoid, talk about not wanting. Like, I don't want to be afraid. Like, I don't want to be in pain. I hate discomfort. I'm just stuck in my comfort zone. I try to avoid stress and anxiety. I try to not get overwhelmed. If you're stressed, anxious, and overwhelmed to a level where it's making you ill, that's not great. That's going to be session 58. This is 56 when we talk about how to handle stress. But they're also great signs that you're in the game, that you're in the ring, that you're throwing punches, that you're trying. If you've got this life, right, where there's no pain, there's no fear, there's no discomfort, there's no stress, there's no anxiety, you're probably basically dead or living on autopilot until the day that you grow. Now, I'm not here to judge you. If that's you and you're happy with that, that's cool. But I'm pretty sure you're not, because you wouldn't even be watching this video. So we need to learn how to understand, sit with and channel these emotions and not avoid them, because a comfortable, stress-free life with no pain, no discomfort, no fear and no anxiety is never ever going to lead to an exciting, compelling future. Even huge level businessmen making millions of it every week or every month, they will be going through massive challenges in their businesses and in their personal lives. They'll be stressed, they'll be anxious, they'll be tired. Yeah, you probably don't see that on Instagram or when they're being interviewed, but trust me, they've either been through it or they're still going through it. Most likely both. Now, as I discussed last week, your mind has been trained to think the way it does your entire life. I'm going to come on to this more in session 58 as well, which is not next week, the week after, about stress. But 95% of who we are by the time we get to 40 is pre-programmed. We're not trying to be that person. We're not trying to think that way. We're not trying to not think that way. We're not trying to not be that person. We're just being. We're just drifting like a movie on the TV. Same scenes, same emotions, same feelings, same thoughts, same start, same ending, day after day after day. Now, if we want more, we have to snap out of this. Now, when you then deny your body the emotions that it's become so used to, that's when we're in the cycle of change, and it will resist and it will feel uncertain and it will feel uncomfortable. If you've been single your entire life and then all of a sudden you're in a relationship, it's going to feel pretty awkward and uncomfortable to start with. If you've never been in a gym and all you've done is booze, party and eat crap, it's going to feel really uncomfortable to start with. If you're used to being negative, depressing, mardy, low energy, stressed, and you've been that way for 30 years, all of a sudden being Mr. Happy is going to feel very strange. And the body will resist because it's built for safety and it will try and keep you safe. This is even the same in training, right? Like, you guys won't realise this, but even in the level of running up to 200 miles, very often the first 5 miles are still the toughest. Maybe not with the 200 miles actually, but let's take a marathon for me, for example. The first 5 miles are the hardest. If I did a 10K, the first 2K are the hardest. Because think about what happens with your body, right? Your breathing goes up, your body temperature goes up, your heart rate goes up, cortisol's released as a result. All of those things are saying fear, 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 stop, stop, stop. Same things, what happens when you die? Your breathing goes up, your heart rate goes up, your body temperature often goes up or down rapidly. So the body's built for survival, not to go through those. It's built to keep you safe. And the mind is the same, which is why it will resist them. Now, the next time you feel so uncomfortable, like speaking even for 60 seconds at Phil's event, when he said, is there anyone else? I believe there are a couple of people in this room who have worked with me. Would you mind standing up? And it was me and a guy called Kirk Miller. And all of a sudden I'm like, shitting hell, I'm stood in a room in front of 100 businessmen who are all probably millionaires, and I'm about to speak on a microphone, and my name is currently Freeman Brownpants. If you've got this far, comment Freeman Brownpants, just for shits and giggles. Now, having done it though afterwards, I felt great, and I thought, God, if I can do that, I can do it again. And then if I do it 100 times, and then the next time I went to his house and spoke in front of 10 people, and I felt more confident, and I started to feel, actually, I'm okay with this now. This actually feels quite cool. In fact, I'm hoping I get picked to speak. So I had to go through that horrible anxiety to grow as a person, to become stronger and become better. Same in life. Look at, I have never met a single successful person who hasn't been through a hell of a lot of adversity and challenge. That's how they got strong enough to be successful. And all the most beautiful things in the world will always be difficult. Ladies' childbirth. Okay? You've been through that. You can cope with what's going on in your life at the moment. But if you're not having to cope with or deal with anything, then you're probably not even doing anything. So to change these thoughts, one, we have to embrace it when we're embrace discomfort. Make discomfort your best friend. Do things to feel uncomfortable on purpose. Do hard things on purpose. That was one of my mind things behind the big runs. Now I've done that, not many physical challenges cause me much difficulty. I did hard things to make other hard things feel easy. The more hard things you go through, the easier life will be. That's what we coach all the time, right? Train hard, fight easy. Now, this conscious change of the mind, of feeling stressed, overwhelmed and anxious, that might lead to then feelings of sadness, anger or frustration, and changing it is difficult. Like I said, you've probably been programmed to think that way for 40 years. So you must commit to conscious change every single day. You must complete this fucking thing every day. You must get up and have at least 5 minutes practicing gratitude, placing your attention on your intention for the day, asking yourself a few world questions, thinking about who you want to be today, thinking about what you want to achieve before you go into the day, or you will just keep showing up as the old you and roll into the day, shouting at the kids, getting stressed, late for work, pissed off because you've got an email, snapping at your partner, and then your day's gone and then you repeat. So every morning you need to do this. New day, new thoughts, new emotions, new actions. So every morning remind yourself of who the fuck you are and what the fuck you want. Because you're here because you want more and you're worthy of more and you want to achieve more. But in order to become more, you need to focus on what you want to achieve and think about practicing, thinking, acting and behaving and showing up how the best version of you would. The person that has the dream life, the dream body, the dream goals, the dream relationship, everything you've ever wanted and more. How does that person show up? Be that person now. You focus on being that person, the rest will take care of itself. How would you be walking into today if you already had everything that you wanted? If you had the most perfect relationship in the world, if you had more money and success than you could ever dream of, if your relationship was perfect, if you had your dream body, your dream car, whatever your dream life is, think of the most magical life. For some people, it would be living on a desert island with their best friend and a dog and not having any of those material things. It's not about that. It's about your dream. And if you had that, how would you be walking into today? Happy, confident, focused? Like, you'd be untouchable. Be that person before you have it. Fake it until you make it. What energy would you have? How would you be thinking? How would you be feeling? How would you be treating other people? Visualize it, feel it, and be that person today. And when you can be that person already, you will attract everything that you want. If there's anyone watching this who's single and you're searching for your dream partner, stop. The more you chase things, the more they run away. Focus on being who you need to be to attract your dream partner. Actually, be your dream partner yourself. Be the person that you want to attract. That's massive. Write that down. Rather than trying to find someone, be the person that you want to attract. Be the person that's living the life that you want to live. And practice until the new you starts to feel more familiar than your old self. And when we make this shift from living on autopilot and automatically reacting to the same triggers and behaving in the same way, that's when life will change, because you'll start to automatically respond with calmness. At the minute, most people automatically respond with anger, frustration, resentment, disappointment, stress, anxiety. And that's not your fault. You've done that your whole life. How many of you this week in your check-ins told me that you were stressed, overwhelmed, worried, anxious? You're being that way without even trying, because you've always been that way. And when you make this shift and just practice, it sounds crazy. Practice every day. Practice being happy. Practice being positive. Practice smiling. Practice saying I love you as many times as you can to the people that you love. And become aware so you can then implement the changes instead of letting the past dictate how you feel. Your brain and your thoughts is essentially a recording of the past. So you've learned to be the way you are. Now we can unlearn that and learn to be a different way. And instead of letting the past dictate how you feel, create elevated emotions from a vision of the future. So today you can sit and talk about past relationships, past careers, how you've been treated, where you went wrong, where you messed up, where you let people down, where people let you down. And that will dictate how you feel, which essentially will be shit. Or we can create elevated emotions from visualizing the dream life that I just told you about. Instead of telling the same old stories of limitation, tell the story about how your future's going to look, what you're going to achieve, how you're going to feel. And instead of negative conversations, have positive ones. Become positively annoying. Be that person that miserable people don't even want to be around because your happiness annoys them. And guess what you'll do? You'll attract more happy people. If you trust and love like you've never been hurt, you'll attract someone who will trust you and love you like they've never been hurt. If you're walking into relationships, intimate or not, with a lack of trust and wariness and unloving and not giving yourself and not being honest and upfront and putting your barriers up, you're going to meet and attract the same person, and then you'll both be at stalemate. Like, always remember that, whether it's business relationships, working relationships, whatever, you're not responsible for how they respond. Like, you can't make them be a certain way by you not being a certain way. This is why I don't understand why, I'm going off on a massive tangent here, but I don't understand why people in relationships check their partner's phones. One, if you're doing that, you shouldn't even be in the relationship. And the only person that would check their partner's phone would be someone who actually doesn't trust themselves. They don't trust themselves, so they don't trust their partner. But, you know, very often this happens on a male side. Men can be possessive and jealous and try and control how their partner looks and what clothes they wear and where they go and all types of things. Like, male or female, if that person's going to cheat on you, they will fucking cheat on you. They're not going to not cheat on you because of the way you are, and you kind of try and control them, and you put these barriers up and stuff, and make you get what I'm saying, right? Like, if in any form of working or intimate, if someone's going to do something, they're going to do something. They're not going to not do it because you would try and put barriers to stop them. So don't try and control people and emotions, and also don't try and be the opposite of actually who you want to be. Like, the amount of people saying that they don't trust people, but the reality is they don't trust themselves. Now, that comes from hardwiring and change. A person who doesn't trust other people isn't going to attract a trusting person. A person who doesn't love themselves isn't going to attract someone who will love them. A person who's happy, positive, motivated, focused, on a mission, doesn't need anyone else to be happy, will attract another person who's focused, positive, happy, on a mission. That's called love and connection. I'm going off on a tangent here, but it felt like the right time to bring that across. So positive people attract positive people. Negative people attract negative people. It's like magnets, we're all mirrors. So be who you want to attract. If you want a happier life, just be happier and you'll attract happy people. But the key to all of this is making it work to such a level that you don't have to try. You don't have to try to be positive. You don't look at me smiling now. You don't have to try to be happy. You just are. And you don't need anything to do it. Yes, if as a result we attract all these things, great. But me being happy to attract other people who are happy is great. But my happiness, again, doesn't rely on whether I attract them or not. So this is when, like, imagine how often if someone practices, let's random example, Michael Jordan practices a basketball shot. 1,000 times, all of a sudden he just picks it up and he does it without even trying. Positive thoughts are the same. If you have like 1,000 positive thoughts on the trot, you're going to find it hard to think negatively. If it's the other way around and you have 1,000 negative thoughts, you're going to find it hard to think positively. So this all comes from affirmations, meditation, journaling, mindset, watching a mindset video, getting out, moving, going from a walk, routine, habits, your environment, being around happy people. But it's non-stop daily repetition. Protect your energy. Don't let other people in. And this month now of November, that's all I want from you. Like, try and do it 30 days, no negativity. No blaming, no complaining, no justifying, no excuses, no BS. If you catch yourself being negative, give yourself a slap and go and change your mood. If you catch yourself judging people, catch yourself. The way you do this is, you're not going to not have that, by the way. 30 days, no negativity, no blaming, no complaining, no justifying. I know for a fact I couldn't do that. I will slip into moaning, blaming and complaining at some point. The quality of my month and my mindset and my life comes from how quickly I can snap out of it and create positive thoughts that create positive emotions. So just focus on being happy, being grateful, being joyful, being positive, and waking up and only focusing on a compelling vision of your future, not a recording of your past. We have to change our feelings through creating elevated emotions. You're not going to create elevated emotions by worrying about what happened in the past. New visions, new goals, new feelings, new emotions. And start by just asking yourself simple questions. What do I need to do each and every day to make this a reality? What do I need to commit to? Getting up 20 minutes every day. Gratitude. What am I grateful for? Who do I want to be today? What do I want to achieve today? What emotions do I want to feel today? Write them down. Read it back to yourself every hour if you need to. Am I doing what I said I would? Or have I slipped back into being miserable? Shit, I'm being miserable again. Right, let's change that. But let's build a phenomenal week and let's build a phenomenal month in November and just focus on the vision of the future, the next 2 months of this year, how we're going to end the year on fire, being happy, being positive, being joyful, being grateful. And when we can focus on that all day, every day, we're just going to attract more and more and more and more. Be the change that you want to see in the world. Be the people that you want to attract. Be the success that you want to attract. And show up like you've already achieved everything you want. Because if you keep showing up like that, eventually you will. Guys, I love you all. Comment below. I am 100% all in all the time, just to let me know you've got this far. Guys, let's build a phenomenal week. Let's fucking go.